You are going into the unknown. What's on the other side may know you're coming.
Welcome to Turnbull Restoration, which was started out of the Creekside Gun Shop by Doug Turnbull.
It was the largest specialty gun shop in the Northeast. They had over 4,000 guns at one time. We were known for having Smith & Wessons as well as other collectible firearms. We were always taking stuff in trade. And it kind of just slowly evolved into what we are. But it's, you know, the whole thing was listening to the dealers and collectors and the consumer on the other end.
We've had a customer send us a real nice Winchester model 1894 deluxe takedown rifle, manufactured in 1913. This gun has been refinished, but it hasn't been done correctly. We're going to do a complete disassembly on it. We're going to do a complete polish of the metal back to original. We will restore all the original markings and lettering. We will rust blue the barrel and magazine tube. We will charcoal blue the receiver and all the small parts. We will strip the polyurethane finish off from the wood and repair and refinish that, and put about 5 coats of hand rubbed oil finish on it, and then we will recut the checkering back to original. We will also go through the internals and make sure everything functions and that the rifle shoots correctly. Basically, everything that we do in the restoration process on most firearms is done in-house. We basically do it all right here.
When a gun is in more serious need of help, such as this broken stock, the Turnbull shop starts from scratch, and that process begins here.
Right now we're in the wood room, and we got 2 different kinds of wood. We got English, I'm going to talk about, and American black walnut. I'm going to talk about both of them. This is a good piece of English walnut. A lot of American double rifles were built with English. Now I'm going to talk about American black walnut, which is traditionally what we restock most Winchesters with. And down here is a piece of field grade. You can see pretty plain, pretty straight grain, and it goes field grade, 1X, 2X, 3X, 4X, and then we got some exhibition pieces up here, as you can tell. This would be a traditional Winchester flare. You can see how on the buttstock it's real straight for strength, and in the back has a flare. It's just the way they were back in the day, so when we buy wood, we specifically target the Winchester flare in the back. I have a Winchester 21, and the customer requested a 1X piece of wood. So I go here and I look and make sure it's nice and sturdy. There's no knots, no checks in it. And then I cut it out and I'll put it on the duplicator, and I'll show you how to do that.
Next comes the stock pattern.
This one's actually a Winchester 76. It's a Roosevelt. This was based off actual Theodore Roosevelt's gun. The original, to see the way his comb is and stuff like that. It's a, like I said, a Winchester 76. It's got a spurred butt plate. And all these patterns are key to making new stock. So it's very important these patterns are period correct.
With the pattern in place, the blank is mounted into the duplicator.
So right now, I'm about to turn out a Winchester 21. This is our duplicator. It helps us make a lot of stocks. So it's like a joystick. It kind of just follows it around and it can spin. So normally we'll do the outside and then we'll do the internals next. So I just got done turning out this Winchester 21. It's in rough See, I did the internals and stuff, and it's ready for inletting. And I'll knock this off the duplicator, then I'll start inletting back. I got Dremels, chisels, files, and I'll sink it all back, and there'll be no gaps, and it'll be ready to shape and sand then, and off to finishing.
Coming up,
Right now we're working on a Winchester upgrade engraving.
this work is done with all the precision of a jeweler.
The customer saw a gun on our website and wanted something similar.
When Modern Shooter comes back. Welcome back to Modern Shooter. Today we're on a visit to Turnbull Restoration, located outside of Rochester, New York.
My father messed around with the color case hardening in the later 60s and up through the 70s. And got to refining it more and more, working with the dealers and collectors who told us this is how it's supposed to look. This is the color, this is the polish. We got to the point that we're able to duplicate the finishes, whether it's on a Parker or a Winchester or LC Smith, and it's completely different style and look of colors, and that's really kind of what sets us apart. And it's the honesty of what it is and not trying to pass it off as an original, which could easily be done.
All right, what we have here is a Colt 1911. Judging by the serial number, this was built in 1913, which is a second-year production gun. As you can see, it's pretty beat up and worn. And what we're going to do is I'm going to explain the restoration process to you. So once we get these guns in, we'll analyze it and give the customer a quote on what it's going to cost them to bring this back to factory original. And that's kind of what we specialize in here, is recreating and restoring history. So we'll start with that 1911, and then our polishing crew will take all the old bluing off, totally strip it of all the pits, bring back your nice clean edges, just like it left the factory. Then it'll go to our bluing station, which is a Carbona bluing, which is a traditional finish that the 1911s have. And then here, this is an after shot. This is what the gun will look like after we're done with it, and how it left the factory long ago.
Polishing is probably one of the most important jobs here at Turnbull Restoration. So whenever a gun comes in and it's badly pitted or it's been worn out with buffing wheels or anything like that, we have to go back, polish down the metal, and then make it look the way it did when it came from the factory. So what I'm doing right now is this side of this cylinder was really badly pitted, so we had to sand all the pits out, and on the outside and in the flutes here. So we have to go in with some sandpaper and bring it up to the correct grit. So we're starting out with either 80 grit or 100 grit, and then we're going to finish with either some 240 or 320. Then we'll just end with 320, and then it'll look like the other flutes there, where it's a finer polish.
Meanwhile, Jack is now using a router on the gun stock he roughed out earlier. Once pieces like this are finished and sanded, they're off to be checkered.
This is a fore-end for an AH Fox CE grade shotgun that we made from a blank of wood to replace the original broken one, and it is getting checkered now with the original Fox CE pattern. After laying out the pattern and the master lines, now cutting one line and following the previous. A higher grade fancy piece of wood typically gets a higher grade finish. Everything is created and follows off those two original master lines, so they're parallel from start to finish.
Turnbull takes great care in matching everything to the original specs. But what if you want something special? Then you might want to utilize their engraver.
Right now we're working on a Winchester upgrade engraving.
This work is done with all the precision of a jeweler.
The customer saw a gun on our website and wanted something similar on this is an antique rifle. So we worked with them to get a design that would suit their budget and look like they wanted it to look. Now I'm filling in some of the details on the scroll work. Yeah, you want to get it right the first time. We want to avoid creative design changes. What we do a lot of is replicating factory patterns that Winchester did. They had a catalog of 10 different patterns, 1 being the most expensive, 10 being the simplest. And so we get requests for those more frequently than a full custom. Well, the cuts I'm doing right now, I'm doing freehand without any layout, but normally I'll draw in the basic spirals because they need to fit a certain way and I want to make sure they're proportionate. The guys polished it down and got it ready, and they really make my job easy. If you see engraving on metal that's not polished well, it really hurts the appearance of it. So these guys give me a great canvas to work with and really enhances what my work looks like.
Of course, the signature Turnbull color case hardening adds a beautiful finishing touch like none other. When we come back, it's not just for classic guns anymore. We look at new guns that get the Turnbull treatment as well when Modern Shooter returns. Modern Shooter is brought to you by Aguila Ammunition. Feed your firearm. By H&H Precision Rifles. Engineering precision rifles and components for the world's most demanding shooters. Sig Sauer Electro-Optics. See the difference. By Killer Innovations. Redefining the future of precision. By Securite. Intelligent firearm storage. And by Turnbull Restoration, specializing in the accurate restoration of historical metal finishes on period firearms. And by Benchmark Barrels, world-class accuracy made in the USA. Turnbull Restoration's signature color case hardening adds a classic look to new guns as well as old.
All right, what we're gonna do here is we're taking a new Ruger GP100 revolver, and we are putting our Turnbull signature color case hardening on the frame. And what I'm doing now is I'm in the assembly stage here. I've already put the barrel on and indexed it so it's back in the right spot. We didn't color case the barrel. We just wanted to concentrate on the frame itself. So we have to take all the internal parts out of it and the barrel off to get this coloring. The process, disassembly, polishing it, usually takes a few hours to do it and make sure it's done right. Now, here we have a Turnbull finished GP100. As you can see, there's a before and after shot. You can see what we do here at Turnbull's. Kind of gives it a little bit more flair. After it color cased, we put a protective coat over it, a Cerakote that enhances the colors a little bit and gives it longevity of the colors.
These are our Winchester 92s, our Turnbull guns. We introduced them in 2017. And what we do is we get them right from Winchester factory. And we'll get them in, we'll strip them down. First thing to do is we'll strip the wood off. The finish off, we'll give it the traditional Winchester red tint. We'll get them in and we'll do an actual safety conversion, and we'll weld a block in there so there will be no safety. There will just be a half notch for your safety. And then we'll drill and tap for 1036 rear sight, a Winchester original rear sight, so you can do the peep sight in the back. The barrels are rust blued. We'll color case the finish, and then we'll also put a clear protective coat on of Cerakote, so it'll give it a little bit of a shine to it. And they're a real hot seller. We've been doing real well with them. Like I said, we introduced them in 2017, and they shoot good. We shoot every single one of them before they go out of the factory.
So what we have here is our Turnbull 1886 line. What I'm doing now is we just put a stock on it, and I am doing the final sanding before it gets separated for metal finishing. This particular gun was made by Winchester. It's got our serial number, a TMC serial number on it. So it's kind of specialized for Turnbull. This comes in standard 4570 or 4590, or you get into the real bigger calibers, the 475 Turnbull or the 5110. The 475 Turnbull is a cartridge that we developed here that Doug did a lot of research on and developing.
So how many gunsmiths develop their own caliber? Doug Turnbull is one.
What drove us to build the 475? Well, there wasn't, in my opinion, a lot of good bullets for the 50. How about 475 or 474 diameter bullets?
You got the 4570, 4590. There's a 50 Alaskan, 5110, and then here's our signature 475 Turnbull.
People are looking at something new and different. Under Wiles guys is shooting them and using them, so we're getting the exposure and trying to do more exposure with them. I think just, God, that cartridge works. It's a great gun. I shot the all-ram with my 86. It was a 500-yard stock across the open bull. There was like no way to sneak into them, and 500 yards, and I got to 300, and I knew where that gun shot out to 300 yards, and I ran the sights up and had, calmed down, got a really good rest, and hit him on the first shot. My hope for the future in the industry, I think the restoration side's always going to be strong. The custom gun people are, there's more and more custom gun. Long-range shooting is becoming very, very strong and very, very interesting. Women coming into the industry is huge. There's a huge growth in that. Great opportunity, for all areas, whether it's new manufacturers or the custom people, or it's a whole new market.
Coming up.
Today, I'd like to introduce you to the .22 caliber Interceptor from Aguila. This unique, ultra high velocity round is engineered for hunting, target shooting, and of course, ultimate performance.
When Modern Shooter returns.
Interceptor from Aguila.
At the Line is brought to you by Aguila Ammunition. Feed your firearm.
Hi there, and welcome to the range. I'm Amy Robbins, and today I'd like to introduce you to the .22 caliber Interceptor from Aguila. This unique, ultra high velocity round is engineered for hunting, target shooting, and of course, ultimate performance. This is an ultra premium, ultra high velocity, copper plated solid point bullet. It's the fastest 40 grain 22 long rifle cartridge on the market, screaming along at 1,470 feet per second. Because it's copper plated, it delivers excellent accuracy, consistent performance, and smooth cycling. Now, the Interceptor is manufactured using Aguila Prime technology, engineered and tested to Olympic shooting standards. Let's see it in action. And that's the .22 Interceptor from Aguila. Feed your firearm.
At the Bench is brought to you by Redding Reloading. Total quality since 1946.
Guys, if you know me, you know I'm into reloading. I mean, I run Massaro Ballistic Laboratories out of my garage. It's just one of the geeky things I really enjoy. So every year I stop by the Redding booth like a little kid on Christmas, waiting to see what Mr. Sharpless has out for 2018 or whatever year it may be. This year he's got something pretty special. It's cool. This year they've done their premium die set for handguns. This is a 9mm Luger. And what it is, it's a little treasure trove of goodies that you probably might have been able to assemble on your own with different purchases, but they put it all together in one package. Starts with their carbide sizing die, so it eliminates all the need for any lubrication. But what the second thing that I'm pretty well impressed with, it comes with a proprietary coated expander. Now, if you can see that there, it's got its own unique little coating on it. Now, this does a couple of things. First and foremost, that premium coating, it will avoid any gunk building up. We're talking little brass chips, we're talking, you know, residue if you're shooting spent cases. It keeps things clean so you don't have to stop, especially on a progressive, and you know, have to clean everything apart. So this little wonder here creates a shelf for the bullet to sit on. It truly expands the case so that you're going to get better concentricity for your ammunition. So that's fantastic. And thirdly, included in this die set is the Redding micrometer adjustable seating die. So if you happen to change bullets midway through your reloading session, you don't have to stop and take apart the die and change the seating depth. You can just dial how much you want to change the overall seating depth, and it's a very precise means of changing seating depth in a predictable fashion. If you're not a reloader, or even if you're new to reloading, some of this can seem like wizardry or astrophysics. But with tools like they make here at Redding, it makes your job that much easier. It's easy to understand, it's well thought out, it's simple and ridiculously effective.